we'll just take a few moments to find a bit of stillness and softness here. Just taking a moment or two to transition into a place where you're in tune with how you feel physically, everything. Just getting a sense of the ground and the space around you. So as you feel your body's weight settling here, start to notice the spaces inside your body unfolding, finding a little more softness into your belly and around your chest. Letting go of any facial tension so that your eyes can settle a little deeper into their sockets. And your jaw can loosen, so allow the lower jaw to soften away from the upper jaw. Feel your throat relax. And start to tune in to the nature of your breath as it is this morning. Feel the inhale as it flows into the body. And feel the exhale as the breath leaves your body. And see if you can bring your awareness and keep it there with each breath. So tethering your focus to feel the inhale flowing in. And stay present with the exhale as it flows out. And just allowing the breath to flow with as little effort or strain. So you're simply letting your focus stay present with each breath as it comes in and as it flows out. And often just that simple action of becoming more conscious of your breath invites your breath to slow down. Become more aware of the spaces in between your breath, where the inhale turns to become the exhale. And follow the full length of the exhale until it fades away. A brief pause, a moment of stillness before your next breath comes in. And with each inhale, feel a gentle sense of expansion through the whole body. Whole body receiving the breath. And with each exhale, feel a release of your body's weight softening further as you let go of the breath. And then little by little begin to start to move again through your body, maybe starting with your hands and your feet, your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And then once you feel ready, let's find a stretch. Stretching back with the arms, stretching long through the legs, and feel the whole body long in both directions. Find a nice deep breath in through the nose, letting it out with a sigh through the mouth. You can do one more of those. All right, and then let's go ahead and hug both knees in. And as we're here, just find any sort of movement to wake up into the lower back a little bit. We can rock side to side. You can circle the knees a few times, whether they're staying together or moving separately. Just do what you're wanting today through the hips. Just finding the movement in both directions. And then let's just keep the right knee in, stretch the left leg down along the floor. And just take a moment here, pulling gently that right knee in a tiny bit closer with each exhale, while the left leg feels nice and long along the ground. And then let's check in a little more with the hips and spine. So rest that right arm out to the ground and just guide the knee across the body until that hip lifts to where it's comfortable in your back, finding a gentle twist. So your right foot can land either on the floor in front of that left leg or on the left leg itself. And feel another couple slow, steady breaths here into the right side. And then slowly unwind again, bringing both knees back in. And then let's keep the left knee in, stretch the right leg long. And feel its length out through the heel, away from the head, gently pressing down through that right thigh a little more, so that with each exhale you can soften any grip you feel in your left hip to allow for that knee to settle in a bit closer. Good. And then releasing the left arm out to the ground so we can try to stay rooted across that left shoulder, left arm as we bring the knee across to the other side. Noticing how it feels to move the spine in this direction. How does it feel in your back, in your hip? As you follow a couple slow, smooth breaths here. All right, and then coming back to center again, hug both knees in, and then let's slowly go ahead and roll over onto one side. You can just rest there for a breath or two. And we'll use the hands to press ourselves up, and we'll come onto hands and knees to start out. So bringing the hands under the shoulders and finding the support through the palms, the knuckles, the fingertips. And finding the support also through the knees and shins and into the tops of your feet. And notice where the shoulders sit and see if they can move any further away from the ears, creating more length here in your neck. And then as we try to maintain that, let's go for some motion through the spine. Rounding it through cat tilt as we hug up through the belly. And then opening up and lifting through the chest and the tailbone. So feel the ends of your spine lengthening away from one another as we just start to loosen into the back. Moving through as many of the vertebrae as you can through your spine. And then come back into more of a neutral spine here, and you might want to make sure you're closer to the front of your mat. So if you want to walk your table pose forward so your hands are more at the front of your mat, still under your shoulders though, be there. And find a nice strong table pose here where you've got a bit of a lift through the front of the body. So the belly and the lower ribs are still sort of drawing in towards the spine a little more without actually rounding the back. And the head stays in line with the rest of the spine. So keeping your gaze towards the front of your mat, let's stretch one leg back. So we're in sort of this half plank, half table. That's it. And so try not to move anything except the other leg. So the shoulders are going to stay right above the wrists as you straighten the other leg to come into full plank. That's it, just checking in here, pushing the floor away from you as you pull up a little more through the pubic bone and lower ribs. Pause for another breath. Nice, and then find a slight bend in those knees so you can send your hips up and back into a downward facing dog, readjusting the feet as you need to. So here, allow the weight of the head to settle, lengthening through the neck here between the arms. That's it. And as you're here, try to send the hips just a little bit higher, feeling free to keep the knees a little more bent. And then you can stretch a little further down and back through those heels. If you notice lots of tension there in the calves, feel free to bend one knee as you stretch down through the other heel. Try to slow the breath here. Can you let the exhales be just as long as your inhales? Nice. And then let's slowly start to walk the feet forward to the hands until all the weight is in the feet. And you can just let the arms relax and rest. They don't have to touch the ground. You can just let the arms dangle loosely or even hold on to the elbows if you want. So see if you can feel, you might even rock a bit from toes to heels and find the balance of support between the pads of the feet and the heels. And that's it. And then allow the weight of the head to get even heavier with each exhale. Maybe bringing the chin a little closer to the chest. Now, as we keep some strength here in the legs, find a little softness in the knees and start to push down through the feet as you hug up and in through the belly, rolling up the spine to standing. All right. So here we are in mountain pose. Feel the support of your legs from your hips down into your feet. Feel the tailbone reaching towards the heels as the crown of the head feels lighter, as though it's lifting to the sky above. Letting the arms just hang loosely by your sides. Let's just pause into the breath here as we transition onto our feet. And see if you can sense the breath into the full circumference of the ribs. So often we tend to focus on feeling the breath into the front. So can you bring your awareness into the side ribs and around to the backs of the lungs? And feel a gentle sense of expansion through the whole ribs, moving outwards with the inhale. And then narrowing, drawing back in towards the center on the exhale. Follow one more breath there. Good, and then let's start to move through some slow sun salutations. So this is where you may want a couple blocks. If you want them, you can have them on either side of the front of your mat. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and send the arms up on the inhale. Maybe looking up as we reach tall, the neck is still long. On the exhale, let's fold forward. So bend the knees a little more. See if you can shift your weight towards your toes as you rest your head. Nice. As you breathe in, let's come up about halfway. So bring your hands to your shins or thighs and try to reach the spine forward beyond the front of your mat. That's it. So the neck is long as your tailbone reaches back. Good. Let's try to maintain this length through the front while we step the right foot back. So we've got your hands now. They can be on the ground or on those couple blocks. That's it. And then let's slowly lower the back knee. So see if you can keep the back knee behind your hip. And then we're going to come on up into the square lunge with the back knee down. All right. So find and feel the support through both legs. Front leg is strong, back leg is strong. And you might even fire up the legs a little more by pressing down through that left foot and feel like you're pulling your heel back without actually moving it, while the right knee presses down, the top of that right foot pushes down and pulls forward. So your front foot pulls back, Back foot pulls forward. See how that changes things for you through the legs. Then let's lift the arms overhead. We're going to start to move through the spine and the shoulders. While the spine stays tall in the center, let's turn to the left, reaching the right arm forward, the left arm back, and then breathe in back through center, lifting the arms tall, and again, exhale, twisting to the left, arms wide. Finding that at your own pace, feeling the inhale as you come back through center, feeling the exhale as you turn. Good, let's go for one more. And then when you turn into the twist, we can now let that right hand rest on the front knee, stretch the left arm back, and let's turn that back palm to face up. So you might notice a little more stretch there through the hand itself, forearm. Find a gentle turn of the head, maybe a stretch of the eyes to look to the left. Really good. All right, as we breathe in, let's come back with both arms lifting tall, facing forward, and exhale the hands to the floor or to a couple blocks. We're going to take this back, lifting the back knee first. And you can feel with your hands on the floor on either side of that front foot or up on blocks. It's a little easier on blocks. Your chest is wide and your back leg is strong, already in plank. So let's take the front foot back into plank as well. That's it. Feel and find right there. Some breath into your back while you pull up a little more through the front. Really nice. And then we can lower the knees and try to bend the elbows, slowly lowering the whole front body down to the ground. That's it. So if you have blocks, you can use them here. It's totally not necessary. We're going to take the arms out at shoulder level, bent through the elbows around 90 degrees. It can be quite helpful to rest your elbows if you've got those blocks towards the front edge of them. Either way, your elbows are bent at 90 degrees on something, whether it's the floor or your blocks. So resting your head here in the center, or you can hover the head. We're going to keep the legs strong and start to find a little movement in the shoulders to lift the forearms away from the floor and then down again to the floor. Elbows are staying on the ground or on your blocks. And see if you can keep your wrists straight. That's it. So there's no movement in the wrists and the movement is coming from the shoulders. You got it. So now can you raise your forearms and hands as far away from the floor as they can be, and then lift the elbows, trying to maybe look at each hand and see that each hand is above or at least in line with your elbows. That's it. So can you bring the elbows a little lower as they reach out? That's it. Feel another breath there. Good. And then take the hands beside your chest. We can push back into child's pose. That's it. Find a bit of softness here. Softness through the shoulders. Softness through the neck. As you once again connect with the breath moving into your back. When you're ready, as you breathe in, come on back up onto hands and knees. Hands a little forward of the shoulders. We'll bring this back into downward facing dog. All right. Pause and settle into a couple slow and steady breaths here. All right, and then let's reach down and back a little more through this right leg so we can lift the left leg up. That's it. Now, as you lift the left leg up, see if you can keep your hips level, so you're trying not to lift that left hip any higher. And then the trickiest part, bend that left knee, pull it in towards your belly, find yourself rounding towards this half plank, and step that left foot forward. So this is where you may want to block at least under the right hand. So we're in the lunge again with the same foot forward. We're going to find and keep the back leg off the ground. You can always let it come to the floor if that feels better for you today. But we're going to find the twist now to the left again with the left arm stretching out. So push down into the right hand as you're turning away from it. And can you again find the support in your legs? Press down through your left foot, pull back with that left heel. That's it. And feel like you want to kick or drag your right toes forward. Nice. Lovely. Let's come on back. Hands to the floor or to blocks on either side of that front foot. We're going to step forward and release over the legs. Let's take a few moments here. Allow for a little sway to come into the upper body if that feels good. And then again, let's roll it up. If rolling up your spine doesn't feel good in your back, come up with more of a flat back, moving from the hips, but rolling up if that feels good for you. So you find a little bit more movement through the spine. Pausing in your Tadasana. Feeling the change in your breath. Can you once again connect with the breath's movement through the whole circumference of the ribs? 360-degree breath. And then let's take it to the other side. We'll start with the inhale to stretch tall. And find the exhale, reach wide, maybe even a little bit back with those arms as you come forward. That's it. Release over the legs. Find as much of a bend in the knees as you need to for comfort. And then inhale halfway up. So reach the spine forward through the crown, back through the tailbone. Keeping that length. Now let's step the left foot back. Hands to the floor or to blocks on either side of that front foot. So you've got the front knee bent. Let's slowly lower the back knee to the floor, top of the back foot to the ground. Then feel the support of your legs as you come on up into square lunge. Shoulders above the hips in the center. Feel the head nice and light above the shoulders. And again, try to fire up a little more through the legs by pushing down through the right foot, pulling it back without actually moving it. Press down through the left leg and feel like it's pulling forward. Still breathing. Good. Let's bring both arms overhead to start. So feel the inhale here, lifting yourself taller. And then with the exhale, we'll twist to the right this time, sending the left arm forward, right arm back. Find your inhale as you come back, facing forward, arms up. Exhale, twisting, arms wide. Just explore that motion, trying your best to keep yourself tall in the center as you find this twist. One more with movement. Really good. Next time we twist, let's pause into that twist. So the left arm can rest on that right leg. Right arm reaches back. Turn the palm up. That's it. And you can feel like you can imagine someone's pulling on your right arm back to sort of the back corner of your mat. You don't want to lean back with the back, but you want to feel a little more length coming into the front of that left hip. There you go. And then notice where the breath moves. Good. As you breathe in, let's come back to center. Lift both arms, reach up. Exhale, the hands come down again to the blocks or to the floor so that you can curl those back toes under. Stretch strongly through your back leg. So you feel your left leg strong and long, already in plank through the upper body. The neck is long away from the shoulders as you gaze to the front of your mat. And then push more into the hands. Step your front foot back into plank. That's it. Try to draw up a little more through the front especially through the pubic bone. Beauty. So you can lower the knees first, so that when you bend your elbows to lower to the floor, you're trying to bring your chest and your belly to the ground at the same time. All right. Take the arms out again. Elbows bent around shoulder height, palms down into the floor, or elbows on blocks again. So let's once again find that same similar movement in the shoulders, head either down or floating off the ground, as you lift your forearms and hands while the elbows stay down for now. Just noticing the rotation required in your shoulders to make this movement happen, and it could be quite small. The range of motion could be very little, and that's okay. All right, next time you lift your hands and forearms as far as they go, now lift the elbows. While we're here, press into the tops of your feet a little more, pull up and in through the front of the belly, and then try to find a little movement through these arms. Bringing the elbows in towards your sides, and then maybe reaching a little further forward. Don't worry about reaching all the way forward. That might just bring you unnecessary tension in the neck. So just go as far as you can go, keeping the neck long and happy. You got it. Very good. Bring the hands back to the floor. Push back, resting once again here. Finding a resting pose that works for you. So if child's pose doesn't work for you, come into a seated position and just find a bit of stillness. Finding stillness here so you can settle into the breath, slowly exhales, and deepen your inhales. All right, let's come on back on to hands and knees again. Hands a little forward of those shoulders so we can bring it back into downward dog, sending the hips up. The head releases between the arms while you stretch further back and down through the heels. So settle into a steady breath. Finding softness and length wherever you can. Through the neck, through the jaw. Now keep the strength through the left leg. We're going to lift the right leg up and back. So reaching out and up through that right leg, but really staying strong through the left leg down. As you bend that right knee, pull it in towards your belly and try to round away from the floor as you come forward to try to step that right foot between the hands. And you might take a little more wiggling to get it there. So that's perfectly fine. Do what you need to do to feel the support of your right foot under the knee. And again, you might want to block under your left hand this time. So keeping that back leg off the ground if you can, reaching through that left heel as we twist to the right through the upper body. This right arm can be at any angle that feels best in the shoulder. Feel free to experiment with that. And then while you're here for the last couple breaths, try to press down through the right foot, pull it back, and feel like your left foot wants to kick or drag forward. That's it. Front foot pulls back, back foot pulls forward. Really nice. Bring it back to the floor, hands to the ground. We'll step that back foot forward. You got it. Release there. Feel free to do a little elephant's trunk sway through the upper body. Nice and loose. All right, let's roll it up again. Pull up and in through the belly. Draw the tailbone towards your heels. Pushing strongly through the feet to roll up to standing. Pause again. So from here, let's find a little standing sequence. We'll keep it off the wrists and hands for now. So let's inhale the arms overhead once again. And while you're lifting the arms up, feel your head light to the space between the hands. And at the same time, the tailbone is heavy. So see if you can draw the pubic bone higher. So you're lifting the pubic bone a little more towards the navel as you go ahead and bend the knees. Hips are going to go back and down a little bit into your chair pose. You're determining how far the knees are bent. Do what's comfortable, what's stable and strong. And then here, connect again with the breath into the back of the ribs especially. That's it. Feeling that width and space for the breath into the back ribs. Good. Let's take the hands to the hips. So the hips are going to stay facing forward. Pretty much everything's going to stay facing forward while we step the right foot back again. All right. So the back heel, I'd say keep it off the floor for this. So your toes are facing forward. Your front knee is bent. Your back leg, back heel is off the ground. So let's start out keeping the front knee bent. See if you can bend the back knee towards the floor, any amount, doesn't have to go all the way. And as you're bending that back knee to point to the ground, try to pull up a little more through the pubic bone and then straighten that back leg to reach through the heel, through the inner thigh. So you're bending the knee, sort of scooping the tailbone underneath you a bit and then pushing back, straightening that back leg. Try it one more time. All right, and then we're going to add on. So as we bend the knee, lift the arms. As you straighten the leg, take the arms back and come forward just a little, finding the strong diagonal line from the head through the hips through the back heel. So bend again, lift the spine straight up. You got it. Straighten your front leg, reach the arms back. Straighten your back leg, reach the arms back. Let's try it again. Bend the front or the back knee. My head's in the front. Bring your head into the back foot. Back leg reaches back as you come forward. Let's pause right here, okay? We'll bring the arms wide. Shift your weight into your front foot. Lift off your back leg, but keep it strong and long. That's it. You can come forward over the front leg any amount. Doesn't matter what angle you're at. Be with the breath, maybe even stretching the arms back or forward or keeping them wide. You got it. Let's come back into Tadasana. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release the arms. Roll it out a little through those shoulders. And find both feet, noticing how each leg feels. Once again, tune in to the full circumference of the breath, expanding outwards with the inhale, narrowing, drawing back in again with the exhale. So let's once again inhale the arms, lift. As the tailbone gets heavy, lift more through the pubic bone, lift more through the crown of your head. And then start to bend the knees. And as the hips go back and down, keep the lift of the pubic bone, not so much to tuck the tailbone, just enough to feel both sides of the waist stay long, trying not to let your ribs jut forward. That's it. Where does the breath move here? And bring the hands to the hips. This time we'll keep the right foot where it is, step the left foot back. All right, so you're stepping back enough to keep that heel off the ground. Your hips are in the center between your front and back foot. And so while we keep that front knee bent, we're going to bend and straighten the back leg. So bend that back knee towards the ground any amount. You're pulling up through the front, through the pubic bone. And then try to keep sort of that pull up through the pubic bone even when you reach back to straighten that left leg. So bending the knee forward and down, and then reaching it back. Find that action a couple more times, maybe just one more. And then we'll start to add on the arms. Start with the arms lifted with that back leg straight. And then when you bend the back knee, or sorry, the other way. Okay, reach up, coming forward a little bit. All right, let's go back up. And yes, arms are up, bent through the back knee. Reach back to open up the chest, even when you're coming into that strong diagonal line. So back knee bends as you reach high. Reach back with the arms as you come a little forward. Last one. That's it. Reach back with the arms with that back leg. So this back leg is strong as you're coming forward. Slowly start to shift your weight into your front leg. Lift off, straightening that front leg as you find your balance. You got it. Arms wide or back or forward, or even palms together in front of the heart. Feel your breath. Lovely. Come on back to Tadasana. Lift the arms, reach up, and lower down. Release into the shoulders. Let's maybe come into a wider stance so we can face more the long edge of the mat. And we'll just come with the feet maybe around shoulder distance apart. Not super duper wide for now. So have your toes turned out a little more than the heels and feel the spine in the center. As your tailbone is heavy, feel the crown of the head light. That's it. Let's take both arms out to the sides. We'll just keep them straight for now. Bend both knees. That's it. And as you bend the knees, feel the knees moving away from one another. Great. Let's bend the elbows. So this is our starting position here with the palms facing forward. Can you feel the same thing that we were doing on our bellies when we were lifting the forearms? See if you can let the hands be in line with the elbows rather than forward of them. That's it. You'll find a little more rotation there in your shoulders. Now let's start to move. On the inhale, we're going to reach up, straighten the legs. On the exhale, bend and bring the elbows out and wide again. Feel as you breathe in some length up the spine, keeping that length as we pull down with the elbows, bending through the knees. Find your own pace with your own breath a couple more times here. Nice. Notice where the weight is in your feet. Can you keep even weight? So it's not all falling into the inner arches. That's it. One more time. When we bend, let's pause here. So pressing back with those arms, drawing up again through the pubic bone. That's it. Tailbone is a little heavier while the head is light. Let's be here for another breath or two. Lift your heels, pivot on your toes, bring your heels back to the floor. So now your toes are facing forward. Let's interlace the fingers together behind the back. Open up the chest and then come forward over your legs. Nice wide-legged forward bend. And try to feel the reach of the arms away from your shoulders, away from your back. Slow the breath. And then feel like you're getting pulled by your arms to come back up. Push down strongly through the feet, pulling the arms back to lift you, releasing the arms again. Let's turn now the right foot, actually the left foot, out to the left. So the left knee is forward, bending to the left. And we'll be strong and straight through the back leg. Maybe we'll first just find a little movement in the side body as well as this front leg. So let's just rest the right hand on that right thigh. Send the left arm up. All right. Let's inhale and lean a little to the right. Exhale, straighten that front leg and just rest the left hand onto it wherever it comfortably goes while keeping the waist long. So we'll inhale, bend the front knee, stretch away from it. Exhale, straighten that front leg and come towards it. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Can you feel your right shoulder stay back so you're not letting that right shoulder come forward of the other one? Really nice. Last inhale. Let's keep this front knee bent as we bring the upper body to the left. We can take that left arm onto the inner thigh. And then let's find a little movement through this left arm, or right arm, I mean. Let's bring it down beside us and then up as far as it wants to go. So you're just checking in with this shoulder while everything else stays pretty still and strong. That's it. Next time that arm lifts, at any height, at any angle, let's be there. That's it. Push down a little more through the right foot. That's it. And feel a nice stretch away from it. Really nice. Let's look down at that left foot. Take the hands between the feet, come again into a wide-legged forward bend. Releasing over the legs, this time with the hands, either on the floor or on blocks, or you can hold the elbows. Really nice. Good. And then let's take both arms out nice and wide to the sides. Find a little bend in those knees so you can push down through the legs. Find that support to bring you up. Great. Let's take it to the other leg. Right foot faces out to the right. And just get a sense of your feet and your hips, finding where everything feels stable and supported from the hips down, from the feet up. So we'll start with that front knee bent, back leg straight, and let's just let this left hand rest on that thigh and lift the right arm up. So we'll inhale and lean a little to the left, and on the exhale, we'll lean to the right as we straighten that front leg. Nice. Breathing in, stretching through the side. Exhale, trying to maintain some of that length through the right side, even when we're going towards it. Finding that motion. A couple more times. Moving through the hips, moving through the spine. Let's do one more, finding the inhale with that front knee bent, stretching away from it, and then take the upper body to the right. Hand can land or forearm can land on that front thigh. So let this left shoulder still be back rather than forward of the other one. That's it. And then send some movement through that left arm. Bringing the arm down beside you, then sweeping it up. That's it. Just getting a sense of how this arm moves without moving anything else. All right. And then let the arm find an angle that feels good on this shoulder. And this shoulder could feel different. So press strongly down through your left leg as you're stretching away from it, breathing into that left side. Really nice. Look down at the right foot. Bring the hands between the feet, turning your toes again towards the long edge of your mat, and come forward over the legs. So inhale about halfway up. Walk the feet in so that we can come down through a squat from here. So what you're going to do is have your feet probably around shoulder distance apart. You might be more comfortable turning your toes out and try to plant down through those heels as you're slowly bending your knees. Your bum gets heavier. Your heels may eventually lift, and that's okay. Just try to keep moving the weight back as best you can. Your hands can be forward. That's it, supporting you here. Or if you can bring more weight back into those heels and bring the hands together, you can find your version of squat today. Now, can you settle into the breath, maybe bringing it a little deeper and slower, down into those hips, down into the belly. Follow one more breath. All right, and then let's find the ground through the bum and stretch out the legs. It's very humid here today so far. Nice and warm summer morning. All right, let's start out with the legs a little wider. They don't have to be super duper wide, okay? So somewhere between shoulder and hip distance apart, maybe slightly wider than shoulder distance. So if this is comfortable for you, you can stay here with both legs straight. This usually isn't the most comfortable position for everyone because of tension in the hips and thighs and low back. So we're going to keep the left leg straight and bend the right knee. Or you can have both legs straight. If you've got one knee bent, it's going to be the right one. All right? And then let's find the shoulders above the hips. Send the arms out wide. Let's bring the hands actually to the shoulders. So we can have the elbows pointing out to the sides as the hands rest here, trying to bring those shoulders down the back a little more. Now let's start to twist towards the bent knee or to the right, and then come back to face forward. Just find that movement, trying to feel the twist happen through the midsection, the middle of your back, kind of bottom ribs. Feel the ribs turning, chest turning. And then as we twist again to the right or towards that bent knee, let's pause there. Try to keep both sitting bones on the floor and take the hands to the ground. So the right hand's going to be out from the right hip. Left hand can rest on that left leg. Then let's start to slide the left hand down that left leg a tiny bit more and send some reach up through the right arm. So we're still in this gentle twist to the right as we're also lengthening again through the right hip, up to the fingertips. Where's your head? Can you bring it in line with your spine? Try not to bring it forward of the shoulders. So you might have to feel your head moving back slightly. That's it. And where do you feel a little more space now for the breath? Good. As you breathe in, come on, back upright. Now, coming forward, straight forward, you're going to notice some stretch coming into that straight leg a little more. If both legs are straight, you're feeling it in both legs. So coming only as far forward as you can go before you find a lot of tension creeping into the shoulders. If they're lifting towards the ears or kind of rounding forward, you might ease up a little bit. There you go. Be here for another slow, deep breath down into your belly. Letting it out gently. All right, let's come on back upright. Stretch out the right leg. Find a little movement if you want through those hips. And we'll take it to the other leg. So right leg is staying straight. You can keep both legs straight by any means if that's something you want to try, or bend the left knee. Wiggle around, feel both sitting bones still into the ground, and we're going to try to keep that as our base while we find movement in the spine, okay? So take the arms out again, bring the hands to the shoulders, feel your shoulders resting against your back so you create a little more lift and width through the front, and then start to twist towards the left knee and back to center. I'm just noticing how it feels to turn in this direction. Try to let the head just follow the motion of the rest of your spine so it's not leading the way. That's it. Really good. And then the next time you twist to the left, notice if you've brought your right hip off the floor. So settle back into it, maybe unwind out of the twist slightly so you can rest into both hips. And then take the right hand to the straight leg, the right leg, left hand behind you a little more. All right, so feel the right side of your body is sort of facing or in line with your right leg, and you want to see if you can keep that when you slide your hand any further down your leg to enjoy a little more of a side stretch here. And then we can send this left arm overhead at any angle that feels good in this shoulder. And again, notice where your head is. Can you find the neck long through both sides as you feel your breath maybe a little more into that left side? Really nice. Let's inhale. Come on, back upright, facing forward again. So we can bend from these hips, feeling almost like you're lifting up over your pubic bone before you come forward any amount. So keeping it comfortable in your straight leg, especially that right one. As you follow the breath down into your belly, letting the belly expand as your lungs fill. And then maybe finding a little more softness in the shoulders and neck as you let out the breath. All right, bringing it back upright again. Let's momentarily bring the soles of the feet together and do a little butterfly flutter of those knees up and down. And then we can bring the knees together, stretch out the legs in front, and feel free to just lean back a little bit to shake out the legs. And then let's come on, making our way now onto our back again. So getting down there any way you wish. And let's just stretch out a little bit through the front thighs and front hips, coming into a bridge shape. So we'll take the arms down beside us, just a small mini bridge, keeping the shoulders down on the floor, head relaxed in the center. Let's find our feet, press down through the feet. Feel the reach of the tailbone towards the knees as your hips lift. Yeah, so see if you can feel this length come into the fronts of your hips, out through the fronts of your thighs. And notice the breath here, moving deeper into the front body. You got it. Let's roll the spine back to the floor from the top to the bottom. And then let's go ahead and hug both knees in. And we'll end with a reclined twist with both knees bent. So we can release the right arm out to the side and guide both knees together over to the left, resting them on the ground at any angle that feels good through the back. So your knees can go higher or lower. Around hip height is usually best for most of us. And then rest and relax the head in the opposite direction and try to position the release of that right shoulder closer to the floor. Feel the depth of your inhale. And stay with the length of the exhale. And then nice and slowly unwind onto the back again, resting now the left arm out to the ground. Feel free to guide the knees with the right hand over to the right as you turn and relax through the upper body to the left. And then again, slowly make your way back onto your back, letting yourself rest and relax in any position to end your practice in. So once again, finding a bit of stillness and softness here. Feel free to have a little pillow or bolster under your legs. You can keep the knees bent or have them straight. Getting comfortable enough to find stillness and softness within that stillness. So letting go of any sense of holding within your body. Find your head relaxed and heavy in the center. Feel the width of your upper back into the ground. Rested through the shoulders and relaxed out into the fingers, the hands. And feel the wide space of the back pelvis, the very base of your spine, how it meets the ground. And feel the softness of your hips and thighs, resting your legs out into the toes. And as you tune into the nature of your breath again, just allow the breath to flow freely, letting go of any sense of control over it and just noticing its natural rhythm and its natural depth as it washes through you. So as you come back to sense your whole body resting here, hear the sounds around you. And come back to the sound of your own breath. And as you start to deepen the breath again, you can reawaken the body with some movements through the head and the neck, the hands and the feet. And then feel free once again to enjoy a full body stretch. And then go ahead and hug Both knees back in. Find a little rock if you want. And take a moment or two on your side. And come on up to any comfortable seated position. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks for joining me today, this morning. Namaste.